Hello guys, what is up? Welcome back to another one of my daily Yu-Gi-Oh videos. Now you may be here because of Rangerette. Once again, I'd like to thank you so much, Rangerette. But let's get right into this profile. And I just came back from my locals and I've obtained a few more cards. And I feel like this is a better build. Can't say build right now. But in this build, guys, we don't run any firewalls. Now, of course, this is my own opinion and my own budget not allowing me to get firewalls. I'm not just going to show you a proxy version. I'm just going to give you a build without them, and you can incorporate that card into the deck if you want to, but that does mean we cannot run the Kaiju engine because we don't have any way to get it out other than like sending it to grave and arming it back. Too much complication, so we have another negation engine in here which doesn't require firewall, and I'll be getting right into that when we get into the video. Okay, so let's get right on to the first and probably the best card in the deck, in my opinion. We are going to start right off here with World Legacy World Chalice. Now, this card has 3 different effects, and I'm going to get through them as fast as possible. So, its first effect is if your opponent special summons from the extra deck, he can tribute himself and send that monster to the graveyard. Or if any card is special summoned from the extra deck, he can tribute himself and destroy that monster, or send that monster to the grave. Second effect is if he is normal summoner set and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 2 World Chalice monsters from your deck. I don't know if they have to have the same name or not. You can just look at the card text, but that's not all. He has another effect that allows you to keep on grinding in those longer games where the next turn, except the turn he was sent to the graveyard, you can banish him from your graveyard, and then you can search a World Legacy card. The card that you would want to search with this card is World Legacy's Heart, so that you can recycle a few of your monsters and continue your plays. Okay, so I'm going to move these right over here real quick. Okay, next up on the build we have our Stratos of the deck, and that is going to be Lee, the World Chalice Fairy. Lee does search out all of our World Chalice names, and probably the card you're going to be searching the most with this card is your World Legacy World Chalice, so that you can continue on. But before we go on, do not normal summon this card because it can lock you out of continuing your plays, because she can't really do anything on her own, so you don't want to normal summon her because you want to use your starters to normal summon, and she's more of an extender than a starter. And she also has another effect where if she's in your graveyard, send 1 monster from your field or hand to the graveyard and add her from your graveyard back to your hand. Okay guys, next up we have the Hand Trap of the deck, and another card that we like to search off of Lee. We do have World Chalice Guard Dragon. Guard Dragon is an insanely powerful card. Now, it does not protect your link monster. It protects your linked monsters, but I think that doesn't have any setbacks, because if you're going to play this deck, all your monsters are probably going to be linked to each other, especially if you have an Ingursu on board. The chances are the 3 monsters on up, right, left, there's probably going to be monsters there, and they're all linked to him. And if you have just a single Eve and he's like fully protected, it's pretty hard for your opponent to break your board if you have this in hand. And he also has a secondary graveyard effect where he can banish himself to special back another vanilla. And on the point of vanillas, I guess, I'll show you what vanillas I run. Well, it's kind of a weird vanilla lineup, but we do have triple chosen, double back end. If you do, so the negation engine we do run is a card which, let me get it right here. Give me a second. Recover. And Recover is a Earth Psychic type level 1 tuner that can special summon itself in the graveyard if you have 5 cards less in your extra deck than your opponent's. And basically, what this allows you to do is use him and Beckon to go into Naturia Beast, because they're both Earth, and one's a tuner, one's a non-tuner. And it also allows you to go into, let me get it real quick, Herald of the Arc Light by using Chosen, because the Herald of the Arc Light is a generic Synchro level 4. Okay, next up we're going to go into some of the non-archetype 3-ofs and 2-ofs. So right off the bat, probably the best starter in the deck, we're going to have to obviously add in our triple Agent of Creation Venus. And Agent of Creation Venus has a simple effect to pay 500 life points and special summon 1 Mystical Shine Ball. But that is not once per turn, allowing you to summon 3 Mystical Shine Balls And maybe if you wanted to summon 6, you can use Exodius to shuffle those mystical shine balls back into your deck and then summon them all out again and like spam the board with monsters, and your opponent can just surrender. They can just scoop because there's not much they can do once you have a fully established board. Okay guys, for this next one, this one is kind of like Venus, except it's not 3 monsters and they're tokens, and that is going to have to be Go Food right here. Probably one of the best starters in the deck in my opinion, because it doesn't take up your normal summon, and you can very easily put them into another, or make something else out of them without having to like use a lot of materials in your extra deck that Venus does require you to have. Okay, for the next up, we have the main negation combo card right here. This is also searchable off of Italian, as I explained before. You can go into Angel Arc, something like that. It's too long of a name for me to remember, but it does negate any effect by attributing itself, and also any card sent from the main deck or hand. Any card sent to the graveyard from the main deck or hand is banished instead, meaning all your opponent's hand traps are banished, which isn't very important, but it means they can't add them back to hand later on. It's also pretty good for the mirror match because of that exact thing. Okay guys, next up we have the one-ofs. Now probably my favorite card in the deck is Rescue Ferret. We do run Rescue Ferret at 1 because he's a really good extender, and you can also easily get your negations out with him, but he does require himself to be normal summoned, and without the right cards he becomes a bricky card. So we only run 1 because we want to hit him with Ningirsu, but we have other cards to hit with Ningirsu as well. Next up on our cute list of little animals in our deck, we do have a Rescue Rabbit. Rescue Rabbit is an amazing card, and it's also a pretty good starter, but I don't really like to see it. I like it at 1, because if you draw it, it's good, but if you draw it any other time, it can brick you. Like Venus, although you may have to play a lot of cards to get it out on the field if it's not your first turn, and it's the first, if you get a Venus out of your Ningirsu draw, you're probably going to brick on it. But there is ways to get it out, but it requires a lot of materials, and it doesn't seem worth it, except for the fact that you do get those shine balls, and it is worth it. Whereas Rabbit is not as worth it whenever it comes to trying to get it out other than your starting hand, so I just like to run this card at 1 as well. Okay, next up we have another lockdown card to make our opponent just give up on the game, and this is going to be Archlord Creasa. That is amazing for the mirror match, especially if you can get a negation out as well to protect her, and also you can use Eve to protect her. You can use, what is the name? Proxy Dragon to protect her. There's many ways to keep your opponents away from killing this card, as well as the hand trap protecting her if she is linked also. Okay, next up, our target for Brilliant Fusion is Gymnite Lazuli. Gymnite Lazuli, when it's sent to the graveyard, adds a normal monster from your hand to the graveyard. This does work amazing if you open a Brilliant Fusion and a Painful Decision. You can easily activate the Painful Decision, add a normal monster from your deck to your hand, and one from your deck to the grave with the same name, attribute, type, whatever. But that's not all, because you can use the Brilliant Fusion to search out your Lee, and then what you can do is you can add the other normal monster to your hand, then you can activate some more combos, and then you can also add deleted hand using that normal monster without any loss of materials, and you also have a Seraph Knight on the board. Just an amazing card in the deck, especially whenever it comes to Painful Decision. Okay, next up, we're going to go right into the spells, guys. We don't run as many spells that we did in the last build, or, well, any spells or traps in general. We run way less than we did before. So we're going to get started right here with triple Brilliant Fusion. So Brilliant Fusion is probably the best card in the deck because it searches your Lee. And if you do search your Lee, basically this is another 1-card combo. If you do brick and you open this in any monster, you can send your Lee and you can send your Lazuli. And you can add your Lee back to hand with that 1 monster in your hand. And you can normal summon Lee, search your World Legacy World Chalice, normal summon that with the extra Seraph Knight, normal summon using the Seraph Knight as a tribute summon, and combo off from there based on the other 3 cards in your hand. So it's a really good starter card and extender, because if you don't use your Lazuli yet, then you can still activate it other than your starting hand. So it's a really amazing card, and it rarely ever bricks unless you draw your Lazuli, which I do a lot. Okay, so next up, what we do have is double Painful Decision. This card basically searches out your vanillas, but not only does it search them out, it also puts one in grave, giving you another target for another card, which I'll be showing you right about here, is Swing of Memories. And another combo that you can do is if you have Painful Decision, a Swing of Memories, and a Transmodify, you can activate Painful Decision, send one Shine Ball to grave, one to hand, Swing of Memories to summon it out, and Transmodify to search a Venus. Now this is a not very good combo. It uses way too many materials, but it is something you can do to unbreak your hand if you do come to that point. So yeah, there's that. But obviously we run double Transmodify for the Lee, because we can send Lee and search Venus. You can send a Shine Ball and search Venus. Swing of Memories is really amazing because Painful Decision sends a one vanilla to grave and one to hand. So Brilliant Fusion can get that vanilla back. Swing of Memories can get that vanilla back. And you can just get those vanillas back and then combo off from there and continue your plays. Okay guys, so the last 4 cards of the deck, we have a few one-ofs in the spell section. So right off the bat, we're going to start off with Emergency Teleport. This card is amazing. This searches out your Recover and also searches out your Chosen. So this can get you access to some combo cards with the ability to bypass your normal summon and get you a few negations to shut your opponent down. Okay, next up we have a card that if you're running a combo deck, you're running this card 100%. That is Soul Charge. I do have my high rarity Soul Charge, and that allows me to basically swarm the field, swarm our opponent, make them cry. You can just destroy your opponent, and they literally can't do anything once you activate this card in most occasions unless they can negate it. But once you get that many monsters on the field, it's basically a free win. Okay, next up we do have another card in the deck that is searchable off of World Legacy World Chalice. Now I know what you're saying. You can only search off like 3 cards in the deck with World Legacy World Chalice currently. More support coming out soon. I do know there's more support, but let's just get into the card real quick and I'll explain why. So this is World Legacy's heart. This can recycle your materials. But back to why I know there's going to be more World Legacy support, because of the fact that Aurum says World Legacy monsters with different names. Currently there's only one World Legacy monster, and his effect would be kind of weird if it said that if there's only going to ever be one World Legacy monster, am I right? So there is support coming soon, and also some people were really disappointed in the field spell, the new one that has been announced, because you have to discard a World Legacy, not a World Chalice. There's some translation issues. People are getting really mad, but I think that's not a problem whatsoever, because what I was probably thinking is that there's going to be 3 different World Legacy World Chalices of different attributes and types. I'm guessing maybe like 3 different colors. Currently we have like a blue one, maybe like a green and a red. Be pretty cool to think about. I just wanted to share my ideas with you on that while I'm doing this profile. But let's continue on to the next card. There's basically another search for Lee, and also you can send a Rescue Fair to grave, Aurum it back, and then you can go into your negations using just Ferret. Okay guys, continuing on with this profile, we're going to get right into the extra deck. Now, one card that we do not have, well, 2 cards, is Firewall Dragon. Now, Firewall Dragon is probably the best card in the deck, but it's a little bit pricey at the moment, and I know that budget players are saving their money for when it gets reprinted, so I just wanted to bring this profile to you guys without Firewall, and have it still be very usable and viable in the competitive scene, probably. So we're going to start off right here with Ningirsu, the World Chalice Warrior. This card is amazing. It's your main draw power. It also has an effect where you can send one monster or one card from both players' side of the field to the graveyard, non-targeting. You can out so many things with this. You can also out, what is it called? Whatever, the big ritual that you summon with blue eyes. You can out that one. I forgot the name. Come on, don't judge me. Okay, next up we oh man, I just recorded the last scene with the ritual guy. Okay, let's continue on. I had to look up his name. Okay, well, we also have Aurum. Okay, we have Aurum. It allows you to special summon from your graveyard, and he also has another effect where he does gain 300 for each World Legacy monster with different names in your graveyard. Once again, there's got to be more support coming soon, so that effect actually has a use. But next up, we do have probably the best card in the deck, and this is going to have to be Eve. Without Eve, the deck cannot function. Eve protects the monsters it points to, and if it's getting pointed to, it protects itself from battle, targeting, and card effects. But that is not all that she does, she uses a link left and a right, meaning if you put her in the middle, that does set you up for an extra link. Now, currently, this extra deck is not built to extra link, but you can extra link without Firewall by just using 2 Ningirsus. Now, of course, it's a little bit more taxing, and it's extremely hard to do so. You have to have a lot of materials in your hand, but that doesn't mean it is not possible. But that is not all. Just to finish off the World Legacy monsters in the extra, or World Chalice monsters in the extra deck, we have double Imduke. I kind of want to bring this card up 1 because I seem to always run out of Imdukes whenever I need them the most. But let's continue on with the extra deck. Okay, so next up in the extra deck, we're going to have some more of the generic-ish monsters and the Link monsters, which there may be more coming out soon in Circuit Break. So right off the bat, we have a Topologic Bomber Dragon. Not only does Topologic Bomber Dragon have 3 down link markers, but it does wipe the field if you special summon anything to something it points to. Now, that may seem like a downside at first, but if he is in the extra monster zone, your opponent, you basically lock a zone out of your opponent's side of the field if they don't want to wipe their own field. So it's really nice, but the problem is you don't really want to summon him in your main monster zones pointing up to a extra monster zone, because that basically gives your opponent the option to wipe yourself. That happened at locals today, and I was so stupid. When I summoned it, he summoned it into the link zone that I had it pointing to and wiped my field with my own effect, and I was like, why? But that's not all. He also does do burn damage based on the original attack of the monster that he attacked after the damage step. So basically, you can crash into a really big monster, but then your opponent takes damage equal to that monster's original attack, so you can crash into the big ritual dragon guy that Blue Eyes runs. I'm still never going to know the name of that. Oh, Chaos Max! I got it! Yes! Let's go. Okay, so Chaos, you can crash into your Chaos Max, and then they'll take 4,000, and if they're under 4,000, that's basically all you need to finish them off. Okay, so I'm just going to go over the next few. So right off the bat, we have a generic Link 3. Now, I actually saw one guy in a profile say that you could summon this back with Guard Dragon. That is actually incorrect. It is not a normal monster, it is a non-effect monster. In order for it to be a normal monster, it just has to say monster at the type of the monster at the bottom. If it says Link, if it says anything else, then it is not a normal monster, it is a non-effect monster. So do keep that in mind when playing this deck. We also do have another generic Link 2 instead of 3, and basically Proxy Dragon is left and right, which is pretty good. It also does protect your monsters. If they were to be destroyed, it can protect it. Now, you can't actually protect yourself against field wipes unless it is connected to an Eve, but at the same time, that won't work because the Eve can't be destroyed, so never mind, don't listen to me. So basically, you can't protect your board against field wipes. I found that out today at locals. We went on a big argument, and apparently I was wrong, but you can't actually protect yourself against field wipes, and that really sucks. So this card doesn't have very many uses, but since it is generic, you can use it to go into Ningirsu with any 2 monsters in your deck. Okay, and last up in the generic Link monster area, we do have Double Link Spider. Now, Link Spider is a sort of generic. You do need a normal monster, but it can't special summon normal monsters from your hand as well. But that is not all. We do have another reason to be running this card, and that is for the extra link, which we currently cannot do, but you can run a Firewall, you can run an Ningirsu, do whatever you want for the extra link plays. It's very easy to go extra link if you do run Firewall, just keep that in mind. But that's not all, guys. We do have the spectrum of generic monsters. Starting right here, we have effect only high link monsters, and over here we have normal only low link monsters. We go from a link 4 effect only to a link 1 normal only, and that's something that's really funny and I like to point out to you guys just as a joke. All in good fun, guys. Okay, and to finish off our extra deck, we have the 2 not link monsters, and right off the bat we have a Herald and a Seraph Knight. Now, I currently am not running Naturia Beast because of the fact that move these up a little bit. Because of the fact that Naturia Beast is a pretty hard card to get your hands on. You can run it if you want to, but basically I like to go into this one much more than I like to go into Naturia Beast, because Naturia Beast can negate spells, obviously, but whenever they have a Naturia Beast on the board, they're just gonna like not activate their spells. But with this card, you can negate anything, and that's so much better, and it also has a secondary effect to banish any card sent from the hand or main deck to the graveyard is automatically banished. Okay guys, now for the side deck, this is basically just a few choices that you could play. Now basically there's a whole bunch of random anti-meta cards that I'm currently running. It's way over 16, well not way over, I think it's like 3 over 16, it's like 18. But we're just going to get into the few of the cards I've run. I'm not going to edit this part, I'm just going to throw them all out there. I'm not really going to explain what they all do. I'm just going to explain what they are. So right off the bat we have the Kaiju engine. It works better if you have a Firewall, but you can send it to graveyard with Lee, summon it back with Aurum if you do want to. I personally like Humongous, the Sticky String Kaiju, because it can negate the effects of their normal summon monster, shutting down starting plays, rather than Gamma Seal, like banishing it or whatever. And he's also got a higher base attack than Gamma Seal does, so it can finish off games a little bit faster. Even that extra 200 can be all you need to finish off your opponent. We also do have Forbidden Chalice for the True Draco matchup, and Dark Hole just in case you want to run Dark Hole. You also trade that with a Regeki if you have the money. Now also for the traps we run Double Solemn Strike because it's Solemn Strike, and of course the Solemn Warning to add into that. For the Pendulum matchup we run Pendulum Hole. For the Paleozoic matchup we run Trap Stun. For the ABC matchup we run Imperial Iron Wall, and for any other matchup that is vulnerable to field wipes, you can use this because most of the time our monsters are all going to be linked to each other, and this can basically wipe our opponent's field only if all our monsters are linked to each other. And so yes, that's all for the video guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really hope you liked it, and I really hope you go into the comments and tell me what was wrong with it, because I know my videos are way far away from perfect, but I'm never going to know how to fix them if you don't tell me what is wrong with them. Because your guys' opinions are obviously better than mine, because I'm not the one who watches them, I'm the one who makes them. So please tell me in the comments what you thought of the video. I hate comments, because they tell me what's wrong, and it really helps me out. So if you say, oh my god, you're talking too fast, that your video sucks, I'll be like, I'll just talk slower, thanks for the feedback. So yes, your feedback helps so much, it helps tremendously. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you guys next time.